So in the Ukraine, obviously, we've had very significant protests, to say the least. Now the death count in some of the reports is up to 26 killed in the protests. The number of people injured is dramatic. It's in the hundreds. In the latest report that I read as we went to air, at least 263 protesters injured and 342 police officers. There's obviously fire in the streets, and there's also gun fire as well. In fact, I want to tell you about one of that. I'm going to show you a video that is dramatic, and you'll see obviously that someone gets shot in the video, and hence there'll be blood. If you're queasy about it, don't watch it. I just want to give you a proper warning. But what happened was some of the protesters were in front of the security service building in the western city of Khmelnytsky, and they were clearly at the door and possibly getting ready to breach the door, right? So let's be fair to all sides here. But then someone inside began to fire on them, what appears to be with a machine gun, and hit one woman and hurt her really badly. So that's the video we're about to show you. All right. Now that video is from Storyful, that collects videos like this from on the ground and then brings them forward. And we appreciate that they share that video with us. At the end there, we slowed it down so you could see that the gunfire was clearly coming from inside the building. Now that woman who was shot, she's in critical condition, but luckily she's still alive. So she's in the hospital, and obviously we'll see what happens with her. So dramatic scenes from all around Ukraine. And at one point, it seemed that the action was getting worse. There was more violence, and both sides were attacking each other with no let-up. And in fact, the leadership in Ukraine came out and started calling the other side terrorists, which is what almost always happens. Now, anytime a government is in trouble, they will immediately turn around and say anyone who opposes them are terrorists. The Syrian government says that, now the Ukrainian government says it, and of course here in America we started the whole mess, right? Now, oftentimes there'll be people who do the same exact thing, attack civilians, but if they're on our side, well then they're freedom fighters. If they're on the opposite side, they're terrorists, and now the Ukrainian government was, lifting a page from our book in that regard. So that's all the bad news. But at the end of the day, there was some good news. Turns out that the leader of Ukraine met with opposition leaders, and AFP reports in this tweet, breaking, Ukraine leader announces truce, start of talks with opposition. Now, if it was just Yanukovych saying this, well, we would be skeptical, but 3 different opposition groups did come out and say that that was the case, and Vitaly Klitschko, one of the leaders of the opposition groups, said that Yanukovych had assured them that there would be no attempt to storm the protesters' encampment in the main square anymore. So there is a little bit of progress there. The fact that they've reached a truce is really great news. We hope that it holds, and that we hope that they resolve this in a democratic fashion. And now there's been a lot of pressure on the Ukrainian government and talk of sanctions from the European Union, the United States, and a lot of their allies. I hope that that helped the situation, and I hope that they actually take Klitschko's advice and go to early elections. And if the people of Ukraine put Yanukovych back in office, which is entirely possible, I would then say, well, then he has the right to make decisions in regards to economic deals that they might strike with Russia instead of the European Union. But let the people of Ukraine decide it. Don't decide it with whoever's got more guns in the streets.